This series is all about cutting-edge architecture. Travelling far and wide across America, we showcase some of the country's most groundbreaking and stunning architectural projects and talk to their leading designers to uncover the incredible stories behind them. Welcome to America by Design. American architecture is world-class, and our ByDesign team of industry experts have selected some of the best architectural statements from around the country.
One moment you're looking at a beautiful residence, and another one you're going to a stadium or being taken through a library, and now you're getting the full story about how it was created.
It's not something that you read about in the newspaper, or there's certainly no other television show like it.
Let's get started with our first project. This is Benjamin Banneker Academic High School here in Washington, D.C. And this is Sudiksha.
Hi.
A graduate of SAIC with a master's in architecture. What are you doing now?
I've landed a job as an architectural designer with Minka Group in Chicago.
Good on you. So it's been a long time since I've been to school, but not so much for you.
Just a few months out.
Right, well, you're ideal to help me check this project out. And I understand this school is well on its way to achieving a net zero certification.
But it's got a higher purpose.
A higher purpose than that? What could that possibly be?
Well, let's go find out.
Okay. Principal Berger.
Hi, Mike, how are you?
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having us here. Now, you must really like your school.
Well, let me correct you. I love my school. My students love the school.
Yeah.
So I love everything about it. It's beautiful, it's bright, it's inviting. It's a great place to learn. It's a college atmosphere.
You're right, I'm feeling college.
Yeah.
Not so much high school.
And this is high school, but applying to college is their goal. When I spoke with the architects and kind of worked with them, I wanted them to give a college feel, a college atmosphere.
And so how does the architecture of this space help you realize this vision?
It kind of embraces that college-going culture, and it gives them that same feel, and it helps promote their goals.
Tell me about Benjamin Banneker.
Well, Benjamin Banneker actually is responsible for Washington, D.C. L'Enfant, who was the designer, kind of lost the plans, and Benjamin Banneker memorized those plans, and he was depended on to recreate them. An astronomer, a mathematician, a person with great integrity. And so we wanted to kind of have little Benjamin Bannekers all over this place, right? So Sue, I wanted to show you this alumni wall.
Wow.
Here you can see, the closer you get to it, there's thousands of students here. These are graduates from the first graduating class in 1983. So this is something I work with the architects about. I wanted them to highlight somewhere the alumni, because actually many of them are responsible for us having this building. And so they went to advocate for this building, 200 deep, like little men and women, and they finally got that swing vote from City Council.
There must be so many memories here.
Absolutely, the memories are so deep. I taught many of them, and then I have 7 of them working here.
So Omar, tell me, there's something different about this rooftop.
Yes, when people mention rooftop access and students in the same sentence, they tend to run for the door, but not so in this school. In this school, this is a place of restoration for the students. But also you can survey the skyline of the district, and in particular, a view of the Washington Monument. We wanted to create that connection between Benjamin Banneker, the man, the school, and the district that he helped delineate in the early days.
And these panels, they're part of net zero strategy?
Yes, these panels in here are supplying energy for the school, and they're a small part of the total on-site power generation strategy for the school.
And I have to say, you seem very proud of your work.
We are very humbled to be the architects of such a great place to learn. For many, education is the silver bullet, and sometimes the silver bullet out of poverty.
Omar, I've noticed during class changeovers, it doesn't sound like 800 students in here. What's your trick?
Well, no tricks, Mike. Really, there's only two architectural interventions. The first one has to do with the ceiling. You'll notice these acoustical baffles in the ceiling that have this wavy pattern. The second one has to do with these wood paneling that we see here. It's a popular species wood. It was supplied to us by Rulon, and it has an acoustical treatment behind that's helping attenuate the sound transmission in the space.
And then there's the light. It's amazing.
Yeah, the light is phenomenal, and studies have shown that adequate access to daylight is incredibly important for learning spaces. So in here, we made sure that we had the skylights, which you'll notice are all pointing in the northerly direction, as we found that that was the most optimum orientation to get diffused daylight into the space. And these polycarbonate panels, which were supplied to us by Kingspan, are helping us achieve that. And if we look at the skylights over these spaces.
Oh yeah,
here,
these kind of boxes.
Yes, you'll notice the glass over them. That glass is there because it's helping transmit some of this daylight into the learning spaces below. That way we're making sure that all of the learning spaces in the school have adequate access to daylight. Mike, I wanted to bring you to this corner of the building. This is my favorite corner in the entire place.
Yeah, it is striking.
Yeah, this is part of the civic scale of the building, as we like to say.
Yeah, it is sitting in a neighborhood here that is perhaps a different scale.
Yes, absolutely. And for that reason, we chose this particular palette of colors and materials to help the building fit in its context.
What is the red material?
These are ultra high performance concrete panels made by Tactile, who come in a variety of reds. And we in fact created our own version of the reds because we wanted to have a better fit with the community.
Okay, so it's not just me. There are different shades and different textures going on.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. If you look carefully, they go from darker at the bottom to lighter at the top.
Why is that?
Well, we wanted people to look up at the building and perhaps become a little more aware of the built environment.
And then I guess the sort of dark, solid base is really helping that.
Absolutely. That was supplied to us by Potomac Valley Brick. This is an Endicott artisan brick, and we chose it because it has a very deep texture and organic quality.
Now the windows along the front, I read somewhere that they're super strong.
Yes, Innovo helped us design that glass, and is a glass that offers, of course, visibility on anybody coming and going into the school, but also is intrusion resistant. Mike, I want to show you this feature of the building. These here are solar panels that are helping produce some of the on-site power for the building, but also they shade the windows, so they're having double duty. They're not only producing energy, but also shading the glass.
Clever. And I love these vertical statements as well.
Yes. Innovo helped us install those as well. These are louvers, perforated metal panels that are also shading the glass that in this case happens to be facing east. So we want the daylight, but we don't want any of the excessive glare.
Now I bet this piece of art has a story.
Yes, every school we design in the district is accompanied with a bit of public art. And in this case, we charged the local artist to produce this piece in the likeness of Banneker and some of his achievements. What we're seeing here is a series of perforated metal panels with holes that are of various sizes to produce the image that we see in front of us. But it also is shading the glass behind it. So the art here also has a function.
So, did we all achieve what we wanted here?
Absolutely. They listened to me. I wasn't just a crazy principal. But not only did they listen to me, but they also listened to the students and to the staff and those who are really going to use the space.
We like to think that we do our best work when we work in schools that have visionary educators, and to have access to those educators and to the students as well is of tremendous importance to us. So,
not just admin, here's your budget.
Exactly right. And so, to be able to have access to the student voice and hear their opinions and their aspirations, it was critical for us to understand the culture of this place.
Yeah, it's like a perfect marriage. You know?
I'm so happy for you.
We are too.
I love how Omar says that this has been a humbling experience and how this positively impacts so many students' lives.
And adding to that, Principal Berger, this is a harmony of architecture, the students, and learning.
And I think that's the higher purpose of this building.
What's so impressive about this project is that they are pursuing the Living Building Challenge, which is one of the most difficult sustainability standards.
The Stanley Center is really foreshadowing what's going to happen more and more in the future of building, which is not to build new buildings. Let's find existing buildings that have outlived their life and find a new purpose for them.
It takes an incredible approach to the history of the town, but also to this really unique space. So it's an incredible story that architecture can tell about the community and reusing spaces, which we should do more often in our line of work.
On the banks of the Mississippi River, the Stanley Center for Peace and Security is on track for being recognized as one of the most self-sustaining buildings in the world.
The Stanley Center's been around for about 70 years, and we really work on driving policy change, policy progress on some of the biggest challenges facing the world. That includes avoiding the use of nuclear weapons, mitigating climate change, preventing mass violence and atrocities. And we do that at a global level. Like, we're really trying to get countries and other major stakeholders to work together to create collaborative solutions to these big problems.
And because climate change is such a focus for your organization, your building is referred to as being a living building. What does that mean?
Yeah, a living building is one that gives back more than it takes. You know, here we generate more power on site than we use. We treat every drop of water that falls on our site. We're concerned about the health and the well-being, not only of the people who occupy the building, but also of our whole neighborhood. So that really was in line with our goals, and there are certification programs out there to prove that we're a living building.
So the Living Building Standard created by the International Living Future Institute, those standards are very ambitious.
Oh, they sure are. So most people probably think about sustainable design in terms of the material choices you use in a building, as well as the energy and the water it may consume. However, the challenge asks us to go beyond that and to really start thinking about the context of place that this building is residing in, such as paying tribute to the oak savannas known in this region. And you can see that with all of the wood species found throughout the space, as well as paying tribute to the history of Muscatine and the fact that it was once the pearl button capital of the world. And you can see that within the backsplashes in the kitchen.
Oh, wow.
And then when you think about the occupants and their spaces and access to nature, we wanted to be sure that 100% of those occupiable spaces had access to daylight and views.
I think when most people enter the space, they would never imagine that this wasn't a new building.
Yeah, this was the former Musser Public Library, so located downtown Muscatine, and it had sat vacant for a couple of years with no real interest in it. So the Stanley Center stepped up and said, hey, let's live our values and create something great in the heart of Muscatine again. The Living Building Challenge is really a challenge when it comes to materials. So we had to break that down into 3 focus areas where we started looking at things like the carbon footprint. We were thinking about how healthy that material was and the chemicals within it. And we also looked at where those materials are coming from. So how close to the site are they? So really taking a holistic look at what we're putting in buildings and not just the norm.
So the courtyard really became a design opportunity to bring some of that natural light into the office spaces.
Yes, it did. I mean, the original library was a lot larger than what Stanley Center really needed. So we used that as an opportunity to carve into the building. All the offices are on the 2nd floor, so this idea of creating windows all around the perimeter became a challenge, and this strategy allowed us to help resolve that issue for them as well.
But then you ended up with a beautiful working garden.
Yes, we worked with the food pantry next door in terms of what kind of herbs, what kind of vegetables they wanted to grow here, and then really make the space a community space for everyone to participate in.
So the beauty of adaptive reuse is that you were able to preserve 95% of this building, and none of those materials ended up in a landfill.
And we want that to be a new standard moving forward.
Yeah, and we're hoping that this project will be a teaching tool for future projects.
Well, thank you guys for showing me around, and I'm just gonna head out to the courtyard and grab some snacks for later.
Okay.
Paris. I've come here to meet a designer and an artist who works in a world that I know very little about, at the very top end of retail, hospitality, and even super yachts. Sophie Mallebranche. Sophie, thank you so much for seeing me.
I'm so glad that you came to meet me in Paris.
Oh, why would I not? The city of love.
Oh yeah.
What is it that you do? I'd like to hear you talk about it.
Well, my work is about creating unique aesthetic experience in spaces. And I blend together innovation, old craftsmanship with woven metal materials.
And would you consider yourself an artist or a designer?
I use the creativity of an artist, but when I have to work on my projects, then I use the practicality of a designer.
Now, Sophie, you've brought me here to Place Vendôme.
Very good pronunciation, Mike.
Is that French sarcasm?
Could be.
Anyway, because there's a reason, isn't there? This is where a lot of your clients are.
Yes, you're right. Here we have our material featured in some of the luxury boutiques. We have one here, one other there, the back there.
I see you're being quite discreet with your pointing.
Yeah, because you cannot approach too close.
Like take that one over there. I'll point with my head. That's been there a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been installed 10 years ago.
Oh, 10 years?
Yeah, the woven metal material has been laminated into 2 sheets of glass. When you laminate it into glass, it becomes an eternal material.
Eternal?
Eternal.
Oh, okay, how lovely. Very good pronunciation.
Aha!
It's a tennis match. Yeah. Sophie, this is where the magic happens.
Well, Mike, yes, you are here and it's my atelier.
Atelier, your studio?
Yeah, my studio.
Sophie, I know several people that are material freaks that would just love to be here.
Give them the address.
Yes, because people can come here and see what you do.
Oh, they can, because we have a showroom here.
Do you mind if I touch?
No, sure, pick it up.
I mean, this is a piece, it's so tactile.
You have a piece of 100% metallic weaving. So it's one way flexible because it's made with stainless steel strands.
Yeah.
And the other way, it has a memory of shape because it's made with monofilament of copper dipped into silver.
Yeah.
And then we have a coating on top of that is very good to protect the weaving from oxidation and also from the UV.
Which makes it robust, which is important for hospitality or retail situations.
Right. It allows the material to keep its freshness, its beauty from the first day.
So how do you find your inspiration?
Inspiration comes from many sources. I have 2 pathways to work. First one is I do researches for new collections.
So off the roll, off the rack, if you will.
Yes, exactly. And the other pathway is to create special creations for specific projects. And we do quite a lot of that.
Right. Which way do you like working?
I would say that the piece that I love most is the one that I'm going to create tomorrow. This guy is one of my first looms from the days I was weaving everything by hand.
Really?
It's a reminder where I come from. The best way to look at what I do today, what the company produces, is to see the piece of the weaving, but in full width.
So this is a big piece like what I was looking at before.
Yes, exactly. You can see how the light plays on the surface of the weaving.
You can, it's very special.
And here you have a second example, another color, very warm gold. And here you have another piece of creation. It's called Comet.
Oh, look at that.
It's a much more complicated weaving, but for example, you can do some sliding doors, you know, you can cut it into two, and you have, you know, a piece of, something that comes together.
Yes.
So welcome to what we call our showroom, Mike.
Okay, who comes here?
Well, it's a specifiers business, so we have interior designers and architects. They like to see scale one finished solutions that we have to offer, such as wall covering here.
Yeah, and what's going on here?
You've got glass laminated panels. Here it's a gradient of density. It goes from dense to open weave.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah, to bring more light to the top of the panels.
Yeah.
Yeah, our materials reacts very strongly to light, so architects love to work with that versatility. And what you have here are roller shades. So here you have a gradient that goes from black into bronze through coffee, and two more subtle ones on the side.
Well, it all seems rather hands-on, I have to say. How do you scale this?
Well, it's funny you'd say that. It's already scaled. We industrialized the process 15 years ago. We produce thousands of linear meters every year. We have a mill in the Loire Valley in the western part of France.
I'd love to come and see the mill.
I'd love for you to come. You're welcome to come. But unfortunately, the cameraman can't.
What? Why not?
It's a proprietary process.
Okay, you don't want to reveal your secret sauce.
Exactly.
Okay. Sorry, Thomas, no cameras. Okay, hello.
Hi.
What's two girls from Paris doing here in New York?
We're actually here for a presentation at a client's firm.
Okay, do you do that often?
Yeah, a few times every year.
How do Americans respond to your craft?
American specifiers have always been very responsive to the work we do, and it's a very dynamic market.
They're an enthusiastic bunch. That's what I like about Americans.
Yeah, me too.
Now, the presentation, I understand, is in this big guy.
Lucky us.
It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having us.
It's a stainless steel micro cable, 316L stainless steel.
It's just nice to know that there's still materials like this that are so bespoke and like
Yes.
they recognize the value of materiality and like how it changes the space and how it changes the design.
I love color. Color is my favorite thing to do. This can bounce off the colors that are intermittent within the space. Like my lovely orange golds, like you see this bouncing off of it.
Yeah.
So if you put a different color in that space, like it's going to bounce whatever color it's next to.
Listen to this, she is inspired. How did it go?
They were charmed and they were charming. Sometimes, you know, I face a crowd that's sort of a wall and I can't read the crowd. Here they interacted, I could tell them, I could see them reacting, and I could see their interest.
I mean, these guys are serious players. They're top of the tree. They do serious, big budget work around the world.
No, it was a very nice presentation, very fruitful.
Let's hope something comes out of it.
Yeah, let's hope so, yeah.
We'll keep you posted.
So Mike, this is a place I like to come to when I'm in New York.
Ah, yes, I recognize the work.
Our material laminated in glass, very high panels. It's always a pleasure to come see.
When was this done?
About 10 years ago.
Goodness, it looks like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, no, that's one of the purposes, I guess, of the designers was to use something that was timeless.
Yeah, I understand this project just about drove you crazy.
Yeah, it did. It was quite a feat at this scale. And we've done quite a few other projects that are similar since then. Here's a glass sample that shows you how the material is laminated in glass, extra clear glass.
Wow, I love how it shimmers.
Yeah.
Sophie, it really elevates the space here.
Merci, Mike. It's true that you have very nice combination of materials here. You have the woven metal mixed with beautiful wooden panel and then beautiful pieces of art in the lobby. It's very theatrical, I would say.
So more projects like this in the works?
Absolutely.
Here in New York and worldwide.
Exciting. And now it's time to reveal our Commentators Affiliate Awards. The Best Use of Lighting Award.
The Ferguson Affiliate Award is an award that we give out to a project that really exemplifies the use of one of our categories, plumbing, lighting, and appliances, in the best possible way. And we really feel like that's the Monahan project. I cannot think of another amazing project on here that really used the use of lighting in such an impactful way. And so our kudos and congratulations go to that project.
The Best Use of Technology, sponsored by Graphisoft, presented to one project that best utilised technology in its design.
Well, I think we have to go with the Duke Ellington School, right? I mean, when you look at the scope of the project and the ingenuity it takes to really pull that off, I don't think that that would have been possible without technology. It also allowed them not just to jam in, a new performance space, but they were able to respect that historical structure. We need to keep the soul, but also improve how we do it. Beautiful project.
The Healthy Building Award, sponsored by Keim, celebrates a project that prioritised healthy choices in its design.
I think the Lily Strand House is the best example of using the technology that we have available, and in the 50s no less, to bring fresh air indoors. And what's interesting there is using the prevailing trade winds and siding a building such that you can keep the windows open. What's important there, though, is that the materials on the wall are allowed to breathe as well. Drywall, plaster, all of those are natural building materials that breathe naturally in nature. They should breathe naturally in our home. So avoiding acrylic paints and things like that will lead to a more healthy environment.
And the Sustainability Award, sponsored by Green Building Initiative, awarded to one project that highlights exceptional sustainable practices.
For this award, we'd like to recognize the Beehive Project. The greenest building out there is the one that already exists and that we can repurpose for the betterment of the community.
Let's take a look at next season of America by Design. And an addition to West Chelsea that has been highly anticipated. Alex, thank you for meeting me here today on the glorious High Line to talk about your development, One High Line.
This is a project we're very proud of. It's a full city block, the last remaining development site. We partnered with architectural icon Yorke Ingalls to create something super imaginative, and we're excited about what you're going to see today.
Oh, how wonderful. It looks like we just entered a Chelsea gallery.
Yes, we worked with the chief curator to help create a custom art program.
It's just beautiful.
Well, this is just the beginning. Wait till you see the residences.
This is amazing, the view and the colors.
Yes, we brought on famed Parisian interior designer India Madhavi to help bring the furniture to life. The actual architecture, we worked with Gabellini Shepherd on all the interiors. Each of the 236 apartments are unique and a one of one. My favorite, the crown jewels of the penthouse.
Oh, let's go. These views speak for themselves, Alex.
Yes, one of the most important things in any residential building are the views. What does someone look at when they're making coffee in the morning or when they wake up? You see up and down the Hudson River. You see the Freedom Tower, the Statue of Liberty, Little Island. Even east, you see the Empire State Building.
I see that. Will you invite us back to see the finished product, and maybe Bjorke can give us a tour?
Yes, you're welcome to come back anytime.
That's great. And I can see the East River from here as well.
Which architectural project in the series do you like best? Tell us in 15 words or less in the Ferguson People's Choice Award. You and a friend could win flights to New York, staying 2 nights at one of Sonesta's 4 New York properties. Enjoy an exclusive VIP guest tour of the Ferguson New York City showroom and select a range of lighting and fans for your project, courtesy of Minka Group. To enter, go to bydesign.global. Most creative answer wins. Good luck! We hope you've enjoyed our look at some of the finest architectural designs from around America. For more information on any of the projects featured in this series, and to vote in the Ferguson People's Choice Award, go to bydesign.global.